Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on this cold, dreary day and another day with some very challenging news. But I want us to be optimistic. And as you look behind you and you see this rather uninspiring playground across the street, I want you to envision a space for gardening and gathering. And in this block, arts and entertainment with a memory walk celebrating this community's history. And then the block behind us, basketball and barbecue. And then the block behind us, and all ages, kids to seniors, and all ages play space. And then the fifth block of Buchanan Mall for active recreation, otherwise known as sports. That's the dream here, and it's a dream that this community has been working on for a long time, and that because of the leadership of the two elected officials behind us, behind me, and because of this community, we're ever so close to being able to actualize. We don't do these projects alone, and obviously today we celebrate the Western Addition community, the group of supporters that have been most active in re-envisioning and advocating for change at Buchanan Mall. But I want to mention and acknowledge a few groups, including Ella Hill Hutch, African American Arts and Culture Complex, the Trust for Public Land, Green Streets, a big shout out to my dear friend Tyrone, who you're going to hear from later, Citizen Film, and the San Francisco Parks Alliance, which has helped out with through Let's Play SF. But very recently, well, I'll start with our mayor, and I'm going to turn it over to her in a second. Her advocacy for this community and for parks generally resulted in a big boost in the most recent parks bond. But this is a big project. It's $5 million per block, and we've been working to figure out how to cobble funds together. And along came Senator Wiener, and who literally called us and said, I want to do something in Buchanan Mall. And he knows this park system in and out, and has delivered $5 million to this project. We have a big grant pending that we're supposed to hear from any day. That will be another $5 million. We have another grant that is pending, which will be about $3.5 to $4 million. And we've got two other sources of funding mapped out, and if they all come to pass, we've got our $25 million to make this vision a reality. So I want to thank everybody, but today is really acknowledging and celebrating this community, but the elected leaders who made it happen. So I'm going to turn it over to our park champion in chief, Mayor Breed.
Thank you, and thank you all so much for being here today. It's so wonderful to be here to celebrate this incredible milestone. But there's a lot of history that goes into what we're doing here. And in fact, when I served on as the executive director of this building right here, the African American Art and Culture Complex, myself along with so many community members, we had a vision for what we knew this space could be. Vendors and people who sold the things and products that they made from this community, performances, events, recreation, open space. This Buchanan Mall, many years ago when I was a kid, used to be the space that we gathered in, that we hung out in, that we roller skated in, that we spent time with one another, that we blasted our boom boxes when we had to walk around with them and use batteries to power them. This was an amazing community. And then we experienced a lot of challenges, a lot of, sadly, gun violence, a lot of death, a lot of destruction, a lack of resources. Things changed considerably in this community. And this once vibrant area that brought all of our communities together, where we were one Fillmore community, this area became almost like a ghost town. And people weren't using it in the same way. Fast forward years later, when this community, during the height of a lot of that violence, we decided to come together to take our neighborhood back. And we work with folks like Tyrone from Green Streets, and we work with folks in Hayes Valley, and we worked with the entire community to try and provide opportunities, to try and transform our community. But something was still missing. And what we did more recently, a couple years back, is invest resources into activating this space. So you see the lights, you see now some of the seniors and people coming out and enjoying the gardens and sitting out in the open spaces. But there's so much that needs to be done. This has to be an area for all of the people who live in this community. Now, when I was a kid, again, we'd start up at OC, Plaza East, slide down the slide, walk next to Buchanan Park and other places and play in all the different playgrounds and up and down this block. And we want to see that happen again. We want to see people from this community enjoy and use this space. And the plan is to make it the kind of space that's usable, that's welcoming, that makes everyone feel like they're welcome to be here, that we can use this space. And hopefully we don't have to go through a lengthy permit process, Phil Ginsburg. Because, you know, we used to just use it, right? We used to just go out with our stuff, and then we used to come together. Now it's like city bureaucracy. But anyway, we'll deal with that another day. In the meantime, this was so important that in one of our most recent bonds that was passed by voters, $2 million was dedicated to this particular project. And then getting us to this extraordinary place was our champion and advocate in Sacramento, State Senator Scott Wiener, who's bringing in $4.8 million. Woo! You get a whole block, Senator, for that amount of money. Hopefully we'll get a discount to take it down a little bit. But the fact is, all the different places where we're trying to put together the resources to make this whole thing a reality is something driven by this community that raised me, this community that's near and dear to my heart, this community that has suffered for so many years and deserves it more than anything else. So not only what I'm hoping for is to make sure that this is a reality, but when you think about it, when you visit other countries, they have all these marketplaces. They have all these vendors and these people where you just go and you pick up things that you need. There are so many talented and creative people that I've met during my time at the Cultural Center where they would sell their shea butters and their oils and the hats that they would make and the clothing. And even the kids from a program called Project Level that started out of the African American Art and Culture Complex, they are now actually in Stonestown selling the things that they actually made, and they are from this community. And so we want to make sure that this place is also a destination, a place to showcase how special it is, how talented people are. It will give us so much hope for the future, for the possibilities of what it can be. And so I am excited about the money that we have and the money that we will get to finish this project for this community. And again, I can't thank Senator Scott Wiener enough. There are so many competing priorities, and he made this project one of his budget asked priorities, and I am very much grateful, and we will continue to do everything we can in this city to make sure that this project, a promise made to this community, is fulfilled. And with that, I want to turn it over to State Senator Scott Wiener.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for your leadership on so many issues around parks and otherwise, and your commitment to the Western Addition. I also just want to say, you know, and I say this a lot, and it bears repeating, that in an era where government gets criticized so much and there are so many challenges we have in doing some very basic things, San Francisco Rec and Park Department has just done an extraordinary job managing this massive park system. San Franciscans, I think, sometimes don't fully appreciate how unique this park system is, that it is so big and varied with so many park properties, but also renovating basically every single park property, every rec center, every park, every playground, every pool, every tennis court, because of the generosity of the voters and the leadership of the mayor and the board of supervisors and this incredible department, we're just revolutionizing our park system in San Francisco, and it's really, really exciting, and it's a real bright spot, especially during a difficult few years. Yeah, let's hear it for Rec and Park. And, in particular, we had a good budget year this year in the state, and we were able to, start funding some local projects that, you don't always have these good budget years. And so when I thought about what made sense, the Buchanan Mall project to me made all the sense in the world, especially coming out of this pandemic where we know that certain communities were impacted much harder than others. We need to be very, very clear that we are going to be investing in all of our communities, and we're not going to be leaving communities behind. And the Western Addition community is an amazing community that has also really struggled at times and has not always gotten what it needs from government. Having this mayor on board certainly has changed that, and we need to keep pushing in that direction. So congratulations to the community. I really look forward to the day when we can celebrate all 5 blocks. It's going to be amazing, and let's keep working. Thank you.
We have a couple of more speakers, and representing the group of people that really are driving change, which is this community. And it's one thing to fund a project, but you have to have a project to fund. And that takes work, and that takes community convening, and it takes creativity, and it takes persistence. So the first speaker I'd like to bring up is Eric Zepeda-Flores, representing the Trust for Public Land. The Trust for Public Land is such an important partner, and as Senator Wiener noted, we've been able to do a lot, but sometimes government can't do it all on its own. And we need partners, we need friends, we need supporters, we need philanthropy. That's how this stuff happens. And the Trust for Public Land has been just a steadfast partner and has gone deep and understands the importance of the history of uncovering and celebrating the history of this space. So it's my pleasure to bring up Eric.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Phil. My name is Eric Pediflores, and I'm a community organizer with the Trust for Public Land. And I'm so incredibly honored to be here with you all today celebrating this milestone. The Trust for Public Land is proud to be a partner in support of this project. We believe all communities deserve high-quality, safe, and beautiful parks, and this community here is no exception. It's been many, many long years of continued engagement, visioning, planning, and dreaming. But what will the renovations of this Buchanan Street Mall mean for the community? How will this park benefit the people of this neighborhood? The future of the park means increasing lighting, safety, and beautification, connecting all 5 blocks together to unify the community, fostering social interaction and recreation between youth, their elders, and families, developing opportunities for skills training and job creation, and of course, celebrating the rich history and diverse histories of this neighborhood and incorporating that into the design of the park itself. However, this project is so much more than just creating a beautiful park. We see this effort as an investment in a community that has been affected by systemic injustices and wrongdoings over many decades. Though we cannot undo the past, this project started with and will continue to uphold the community at the center and uplift their voices that are leading change into the future. It's been incredibly inspiring to hear the hopes and dreams that the residents have for their youth, knowing their history, having a sense of belonging, and seeing opportunity to follow in the footsteps of their leaders, activists, and ancestors. And now here we are celebrating this milestone. The project no longer is just a plan on a paper. It's becoming real thanks to the support from everyone here and the strong dedication to see this fulfilled. I'd like to acknowledge specifically our partners, Phil Ginsberg, Lauren Chavez, and the support from the rest of the Rec and Park staff, Sophie, Tamara, and Citizen Film for their deep commitment, Widya for her strong leadership and bringing in her youth voice, and of course Tyrone for his incredible work with Green Streets. And of course, I'd like to thank our elected leaders, Senator Wiener, Mayor London Breed, and Supervisor Preston for their unwavering support and dedication to this project. Our funders, both private and public, who have come together to invest in this community. And last but not least, I'd like to acknowledge the Fillmore community for their strength, resilience, and advocacy. There's still so much work to be done, but this moment celebrates a huge milestone in turning their vision into reality. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Our final speaker here today, perhaps in some respects, is the most important, and that's Tyrone Mullins, who what?
We stand in unity, the community.
Of course, I'm just saying he's speaking. Yeah, because he's representing the community, and Tyrone has worked really hard with community on this project, with Citizen Film. He has helped organize community, helped give voice to community, and it is my pleasure to bring him up to say a few words.
So first, thank you for having me be able to come up here and share my voice. And T was correct. The work that we put in was as a collective. It was what collaboration really means. A lot of the work that we put in, the behind the scenes stuff, was a lot of heavy load on Tamara that she don't come up and take a lot of the acknowledgement, but a lot of the glue that makes this thing stay together on the back end. Before I get into my spiel with names and stuff, I want to acknowledge Senator Wiener and Mayor Breed. Thank you for making it a priority. Being born and raised here, I don't have to tell you how much this means to us. I know there's a lot of more work to be done, but I'm committed. That vision that you've seen, I'm here to help see it through. 36 years old, and I was a part of that group that detoured some of the community in this area. We was a part of that gun violence. We lost a lot of people. We hurt a lot of people. We hurt this community. And not only my personal road to redemption, but in wanting to create a better quality of life for my kids, for my brother's kids, for everybody else's kids around here, for the elders that still remain who knew it from a time that Mayor Breed spoke to create a different environment, create community again. It was two things that happened that got me to buy in. First was when we talked about the project, Philip Vitale from Trust for Public, he was with Trust for Public Land at the time. We met at Hayes Valley Playground, and they said they did the playground over. And I told him, you know, I'm from the community, and we wasn't too happy about that. And he said, well, I didn't see many people from the community at the meetings. So I told him I took that as a challenge to show up to the meetings, to be present, to know that oftentimes somebody that come from my dynamic won't be in those meetings and won't have our voices heard, that I'm with that. And then right behind that, Shannon Watts, who's from Plaza East, who's an intricate part of the developmental process of Green Streets, was shot on Turk Street. And unfortunately, I knew that more than likely it came from my side of the neighborhood. So I felt we had a decision to make in that moment, being that we had been in position with this company, Green Streets, to be able to do work that bookend the community in Hayes Valley and Plaza East. And I knew that we had trust and leverage within the community from us being from here. Us fully immersing ourselves in this project will create an opportunity for it to be something beautiful here. When I hear Mayor Breed talk about that vision of vendors, of people being able to create and earn a positive dollar, those things are what drive me in this project. The garden, to talk about things like farm to table, to teach our people about how to properly feed themselves, to be aware of what they're putting in their bodies. I lost my mom 2 years ago to digestive system complications, and that was around us not being properly educated about what we put in our bodies and how to take care of ourselves. So seeing that come to fruition is something that's important to me. Knowing that we can create a safe space where people can not only come out and earn an honest dollar, but also feel safe within community and have it be for everybody is a push that I feel we haven't seen since the time of like the Panthers, being able to say, you know, empowering one another, empowering ourselves, no matter what somebody implicit bias may be of me or how I look on the outside, I'm to my core about my people. And I know that I have a responsibility as someone who survived and seen and able to stand here today. I got work to do. Got work to do. So I thank you guys again, and I'll go over my list of other community people that we got to acknowledge. So for my Buchanan leaders, it's Jackie Henderson, Norma Robinson Brown, Maddie Scott. Where's Maddie? I love me some Maddie. Betty McMillan, Marie McCullum in the back, Tamara Walker, Eris Eggerly, Charles Melancon, Thomas Simpson, Shannon Watts, Randolph Lee, Roger Blaylark, Devontae Bolden, Sharon Lee, Rika Chambers, Lynette White, James Spangola, and Dr. Cheryl Davis. To our youth leaders, Whittier Batin, Salah Mahiri, Sasha Early, and Jasmine Thomas. Those young ladies are on a mural down by the senior building that actually has Mayor Breed on there as well. And I thought that was so dope to have them in real time be acknowledged in the community as they continue to grow and develop as young ladies here, to show people like what they was a part of coming up in this neighborhood and what that would mean to other young ladies, seeing them adorned on the walls in their community and being acknowledged with the likes of Mary Rogers and Mayor Breed. And then lastly, we want to pay homage to our beloveds who passed. Raymond Wade, Stella Baker, Alice Lane, and Eugene White. And then I want to send a special rest in peace to not only my mom, but to my grandmother, Louise Harvey, who shoulders I stand on. As a little kid, her taking me to Ella Hill, to the Fillmore Center, to Booker T, to a bunch of different meetings where you wouldn't even want to go, and she'd be like, go sit down, you got to go eat something or be quiet. But she was prepping me for this moment. My brother told me this morning that you was being prepped to speak on Fulton Street and you didn't even know it. To share my personal story, in 2009, November 2009, I shot a man on Fulton Street and went to prison for it. Black man in my neighborhood. And so to stand here today, anytime I get to stand on Fulton Street and be able to do this work and be able to know that I'm guided by something bigger than myself, something bigger than myself that got me on this journey to do this work here. I also want to say rest in peace to William Darden, friend of ours from ML Park, who passed a few weeks ago, mental health complications. Had it been more active stuff, probably could have drawn him in and gave him the support needed to be as more productive. You know what I mean? These are the things that I think about when I wake up. I know what it's like to walk through this neighborhood and know the bodies that's not here no more. And to know that to be here is a blessing. It's a blessing. I got work to do. Thank you.
We're going to wrap it up with just a few more quick thank yous. I did want to acknowledge Barbara Thompson, who has been very involved in this project, has showed up at every single community meeting, every single event. Thank you, Barbara, for your love. And then to the Rec and Park team, Lauren Chavez, who was called out earlier, but has given so much sort of love and energy to this project. Stacy Bradley, who runs our capital program. And I also want to give a special thank you to the Rec and Park Commission for guiding us and supporting this project, and representing the commission today is one of our newest commissioners, Commissioner Larry Griffin. So Mayor, we will deliver for you, and Senator, together we will deliver for you, and thank you very much, everyone.